Hello, everybody who is watching this on YouTube, and for those who are on stream, I've already said hello to you, but welcome back to our next study in the life of Jesus. We are going to be continuing on learning more about what Jesus did when in his life and his ministry. Where we last left off, we talked about the woman at the well, the Samaritan woman, a woman who was transformed through the power of who Jesus was. And I think it is one of the coolest stories in the entire Bible. And so that is where we left off. And now we get to continue on. We are continuing in John chapter 4. There's a lot we're doing in there. Oh my gosh, my dog looks so cute right now. He's so distracting. You want to come sit with me, buddy? Slide you closer. I can pet you. Yeah. Okay. We're going to be continuing in John chapter 4. Scripture is going to be on the other side of the screen here. Or you can always follow along on your own Bible. We will be starting in John chapter 4, verse 46. So if you want to read along on your own Bible, you can do that. Otherwise, again, it is right here on the screen. I apologize. I got a ton of gunk in my eye. All right. So he came again to Cana in Galilee, where he had made the water wine. And at Capernaum there was an official whose son was ill. When this man heard that Jesus had come from Judea to Galilee, he went to him and asked him to come down and heal his son, for he was at the point of death. So Jesus said to him, "Unless you see signs and wonders, you will not believe." The official said to him, "Sir, come down before my child dies." Jesus said to him, "Go, your son will live." The man believed the word that Jesus spoke to him and went on his way. And he was going down, his servants met him and told him that his son was recovering. So he asked them the hour when he began to get better. They said to him, "Yesterday at the 7th hour, the fever left him." The father knew that was the hour when Jesus had said to him, "Your son will live." And he himself believed, and all his household. This was now the second sign that Jesus did when he had come from Judea to Galilee. So this is something that so Jesus was going to Capernaum. Well, he was in Capernaum, and he ran into an official whose son was really ill, to the point where his son was going to die. To which then, in Capernaum, or I guess, yeah, wow. He goes up to Jesus and he says, "Sir, my son is going to die. He's sick. He is going to die. Please go down and heal him." And Jesus says, "Unless you see signs and wonders, you will not believe." The official said to him, "Sir, come down before my child dies." Jesus said to him, "Go, your son will live." So this man comes in, probably is a skeptic when it comes to Jesus. I think that's basically what we're seeing when Jesus says, "Unless you..." Now, I can't say for sure. This is just based off of what context clues in the verses. Jesus says to him, "Unless you see signs and wonders, you will not believe." The official says to him, "Sir, come down before my child dies." At this point, this official is basically, he's on his last hope. It's either Jesus or his son dies. There's no, there's nothing else. Either Jesus heals him or his son dies. And I can only imagine the level of begging and pleading that he would have. Probably was even begging and pleading with God even before. But so then Jesus then goes and tells him, "Go, your son will live." The man believed the word that Jesus spoke and went on his way. At this point, he's probably going down knowing he believed Jesus. He believed that Jesus said that he would live. So that's what he is going on, believing that Jesus is going to heal his son. And at that point, then as he's going down, his servants find him and say, "Hey, he's getting better. Great." And so then, excuse me, it's great. He's getting better. And then he wants to know, like, hey, when was my son getting better? And he says that it was around the 7th hour, which is when he was talking to Jesus. And then he himself believed, and all his household. So here again, we see another point of Jesus's power, not just healing people, but healing hearts. See, because this man was convinced that his son was dead, and he knew that the only other possible thing that would save his son was Jesus. And Jesus healed his son. You're probably like, okay, well that means that he believed in Jesus not because of who Jesus was, but because of what Jesus did. But looking at the entirety of the time that Jesus was around, this whole thing would have been taking place where people were knowing who Jesus was, at least in terms of who he was claiming to be. He was claiming to be the Son of God. They were knowing that. They were hearing those kinds of things. And so then from there, Jesus has a reputation. He's already turned water into wine. Now this is the second sign that he has done. And so people are starting to then put it a little bit more together about who Jesus is. And so the signs that, and people were probably skeptical. They were nervous. They were like, I don't know who this Jesus guy is. I don't trust this Jesus guy. And then Jesus heals him. And not only does that save his son, but it confirms in this official who Jesus is. That Jesus truly is who he says he is. And at that point, all sense of doubt for who Jesus is was gone. And it's something where I feel like we don't get a ton of it in today's day. We don't get a lot of, this is who Jesus is, this is where Jesus was, this confirms, like, we don't get a lot. I mean, not to say that miracles don't happen. I'm not gonna say that. I've been a part of too many miracles in my own life to deny the existence of miracles. But we don't get Jesus in the flesh healing people. We don't get that in the same way. And um so then this shows again the power of what we get. Wow. I'm so sorry, everybody. I cannot keep a thought together right now. My ADHD is just saying absolutely not. Anyway, Jesus then we don't see Jesus performing these crazy miracles in the same way. But things do happen that removes the doubt for Jesus. And for this official, the thing that removed the doubt was the healing of his son. Once his son was healed, him and his whole household believed. What are the things that you doubt about when it comes to Jesus? What makes you really doubt Jesus? I want to encourage you guys to pray on these things. Pray about what makes you doubt Jesus and ask him to reveal those things because he will. And then look for him. You know, what this official did is he had doubts, but he wanted to know, so he looked. If you look for Jesus, your doubts, Jesus will remove your doubts if you look. That's going to be the end of today's Bible study. Thank you guys so much for watching. I apologize for being an absolute mess of thoughts. My brain is just still waking up. But anyways, that's going to be it. This will be uploaded. If you're coming in at the end, this will be uploaded onto YouTube tomorrow morning. If you are not coming in at the end, you're coming in like at the beginning. Cool, great. If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you guys feel free to subscribe so that way you can get notified when more of these posts. I try to post them the day after we have them on the stream. If you would like to watch them live and participate and discuss what's going on in the live stream, there is a link to my Twitch channel down below. You can follow that, and from there, then you can you can join us every Wednesday morning for Bible study. I might change it from Bible study to coffee and Jesus because that's what I'm doing every single Bible study is drinking coffee. But with that, you guys are loved, you are valued, you are fearfully and wonderfully made, and we will see you next week. Goodbye, everybody.